Hey guys, I hope you're hungry. Welcome back to War Stories here on the Full Answers channel, and we're going to continue our month of spooky war stories by going over another horror movie with another one of my regular contributors, in this case, HolyDiver.
Hello.
So, what movie would you like to talk about today?
I would like to talk about The Grudge.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Well, see, I remember, because back when I was a sophomore in college, we had a we call it Oktoberfest, where we did it. The month of October, we, to varying degrees of success, watched a horror movie every single night.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember on one particular
Continually
night, we watched The Grudge
onslaught.
1 and 2 back to
Destroy
back. They were by far the most terrifying movies to me of the whole month. And I remember I had to walk with my friend back to the apartment after that, and I literally sprinted back home because I was walking home from the start, and I was real spooked.
And you don't really get scared by movies too often.
Not too much, not too much. It really depends on what it is and what it does.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to me that is a movie that's worried you so much, because I never really thought of it as that scary, but it has been a long time since I've seen it. So
Yeah.
speak to that.
Well, to me, the big difference between a really scary movie and like a funny scary movie is
their formation is broken.
When you say a funny scary movie, you mean something like Beetlejuice or like the Chucky movies, like where it's supposed to be ridiculous?
no, not really. Like the movies where it's supposed to be scary, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
So, like, for example, that would be most slasher movies. And what I'm talking about is, like, if I am looking at the main
Press
character
disadvantage.
and saying, what
Give
the
them no
heck, just do
quarter.
this, what the heck, just do that, yada, 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 and I'm screaming over the movie, trying to get them to not be an idiot, it's not at all scary.
Some
It's
experiments
never-
should have never happened.
So you want the characters to react in believable ways?
Exactly. And more than that, you feel like if you were in that situation,
In time,
you'd be just fine.
you will know
Right.
the tragic
And
extent
that's
of
the
my
big difference
failings.
with The Grudge, to me, is it doesn't matter. You look at what they did, and you look at the way they acted, and like in a way, The Grudge spoils itself because you know from the very beginning that there's no hope. Period. Just it's gonna get them, and it's all about the journey of.
Why don't you
watching
kind of elaborate on the plot a little bit for people that haven't seen it, because like I don't really remember it very well at all.
Sure. So it all goes into this old Japanese story that if someone is killed while in the grip of intense rage or sorrow, they leave a curse on the area they're in. And
That's
that curse
right.
will, the emotion, the curse remains and it stays there, and it infects anybody who comes into it.
Okay, that's right.
And basically, the story is that 3 years ago there was a terrible murder-suicide in this house that caused one of these spirits to haunt it, like that curse to go over it. And it's about other people who go into the house and interact with it, and over time they're all taken by this curse, and you realize that it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't really matter. In a way, it doesn't even matter what caused it. It's there now, and there's nothing they can do to get rid of it.
That's cool.
And I
So
like
it's
it
not like
because,
it's not like The Exorcist or anything like that, where this is how we can beat it, this is how we can control it. No. There's you're already screwed. It's already over.
Right. And the whole movie isn't even about how to beat it. It's about what the heck is going on.
Mhm.
They never know what's happening until at the very end of the movie, when they kind of piece together the murder that happens. And by then it's far too late because they've all been in the house, they've all seen what goes on. And like you feel the helplessness and the confusion of the characters by the way the movie is presented. It's not just a straightforward linear sequence of events.
Right.
It shows like a money shot, and then it goes back and tells you what was leading up to that. Like for example, the very first scene of the whole movie is a man committing suicide.
Mhm.
And like you don't see that man, you don't see his wife until the second half of the movie. That's just what opens, and then it goes back and pieces together. Okay, she was in the house, and and this and that, the other, they all connect together, and that's how it gets there.
Okay.
So I really love the way it's set up. Like, especially like rewatching it, because I hadn't watched it in a couple of years, but then I just watched it again this morning in preparation. Look how prepared I am for my war story. And I was impressed more, because now that I knew the story, it made more sense to me, and I saw all the work that went into it.
Right. So that's cool. Okay. So what are how come that young man meows? I remember a young man meowing, or is that in the second one?
That is in the first one.
Okay.
I don't really remember the second one that well, but yes, he meows because he and his cat died together.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting, like little things like that, where when you first see it and you first like realize, and when you first see it, it's funny. There's this little boy, and he looks at you, and he opens his mouth really wide, and a
These
meow comes
salt-soaked
out.
caverns are
It's
teeming
funny.
with
It's like apparently
pelagic
comedic,
nightmares.
but then you
Must
put
be
yourself in that
flushed out.
situation, and you think, okay, so there's this pale boy sitting here, and I have no idea how he got here. It's terrible, and then he opens his mouth, it's this dark pit, and a meow comes out. Like,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
freaking horrifying. Like, what does that even?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do with that, young man?
Right, exactly. Well, you still that's what you.
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's the movie with that. I know how to do it.
With it like jiggling. Yeah, boy. So what made it especially stick with you? Like, what made it the movie you really wanted to talk about?
Press disadvantage. Give them no
Just
quarter.
that feeling of hopelessness. That like I like 10 because it's not just a house too. Once you get touched by it, it doesn't matter where you are. Like there are lots of scenes where you can see spirits, like in the reflection, in the whatever.
Formation
Especially
is
in the second
broken.
movie, because the kind
Maintain
of plot
the
of the second movie
offensive.
is that spirits aren't actually officially released from the house, and now they're just haunting. They can go anywhere.
Oh
And
well,
you-
that's
and,
nice
like,
for them.
In tons of scenes where they're otherwise not necessarily, you'll see the spirit in the background.
Right.
And it's horrifying that they're everywhere and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's cool. So
And then
go ahead.
probably the serious scene in the whole movie is there's a woman who isn't even directly related. She calls
Obliterated.
the house to talk to her brother who had bought the house. Like, I'm worried about mama, yada yada yada. And then the spirit calls her back. And she picks up the phone and goes like,
Oh yeah.
she's getting haunted too. And she's getting pursued throughout just her life, far away from the house. Like, we don't even know where she is. And then
So that kind of speaks to like what you said, like how like everybody is screwed just for coming in contact with them.
Continue the
That's just like
onslaught.
the power of the grudge
Destroy
itself.
them.
You know that's cool.
And then like even to the extent of she runs home.
If
she
only
locks the
treasure
door,
could staunch
and, like,
the flow
There's
of
this scene where
otherworldly corruption.
Matthew, who's her brother, calls her up, and you even hear his voice on the phone, but it's all the grudge because we know that he's already been taken by it.
Oh, cool.
And then she locks the door, goes, runs, hides in bed, and suddenly the grudge is under the bed.
As the fiend falls,
I think I remember
hope
that.
blossoms.
Yeah.
So, are there 2 or there are 3 movies?
Confidence surges as the enemy
I've only seen the
crumbles.
first 2.
Okay. And you know they're making like Grudge versus Ring.
Yeah,
That's kind of a cool idea.
it is. I think it'll be pretty dumb, but I look
Seize
forward to
this
seeing it
momentum.
anyway.
Right.
Push
boy.
on to the
Yeah, boy.
task's end.
So you like the second one as well?
Like I said, I don't remember it as well, but I do remember that's the one that really messed with us with the grudge appearing in the background.
Right,
and, like,
right.
I remember watching it with my friends, and like every scene we'd be like, "Yo, pause it, there she is!"
Uh-huh. That's really, and like it's not even like obvious jump scare stuff. It's just like you might miss it if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy. That's how they get you.
That is how they get you.
Well, cool. So I don't know. You have any other thoughts about it that you want to share? Like what? Okay, so you said like the thing that makes it like separates it between like a silly movie. So like what did the, like an example of, like you said, a slasher. So what does this do so much better? Like I know you said like just the people acting dumb, but could you elaborate in any other way?
Well, like for example, the main character Karen, she is never really supposed to be in the house. She's a home care worker, and the person who was supposed to be there obviously got murdered the day before. So
right.
She went there to help out the old woman living in the house, and like she has all these occurrences, and like because at first they kind of dismiss it. They kind of dismiss her story because they figure,
the way is
okay,
lit.
the old
The
woman
path is clear.
died in her sleep. And
We
that was
require
just
only
really
the strength to follow it.
because, you just met her. That makes sense. And so she goes and she tries to figure out what is it that she saw that night. What is the story behind this house? And
Okay,
by
so
the time,
what did she see? Like she just saw the Grudge? She saw the spookiness?
yeah, she's well, it was really unique, and I think that particular scene took me out of it a little bit because the Grudge didn't appear as just the girl that we all know. She appeared as like this giant black specter.
Oh, okay.
And that was a little weird, but the premise remains the same.
Yeah.
And that's what scared her so much, and she tried to figure out what's really going on, because I know it's dinosaurs.
Right.
But and I feel like I would probably have to say want to know what happened there.
Right, definitely.
And then by the time she realized just how bad things were, her boyfriend was on his way to the house, and she had to go and save him before he got caught too.
Right.
So
that's cool. Just the feeling of hopelessness that's just throughout the whole proceedings.
Yeah. It reminds me that feeling is also very present in my favorite suspense movie. It's one of my favorite classic movies, Failsafe. I'm sure you remember me telling you about that before. It's the movie where essentially right in the accidental nuclear war.
Yes.
It deals with they had the Americans and the Russians don't have all of
these nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be
computer
beaten.
systems in place in order to defend themselves. But what happens if the wrong signal goes out? This messes up, and this messes up, and then that one is incredibly, that's almost horror to me. Because you see everybody frantically acting like they're trying to stop these bombers that are flying on the way to start World War III, and nobody can do anything about it.
Right.
And they call the Russians and they say, "Hey, we can't get in contact with our bombers. They're going to kill you."
The funny story.
Yeah. Right. They call them. Hold on, guys. But the Russians aren't gonna stop that the radar jamming, because of course they're not. They don't want us to be able to talk to the people flying above their nation.
Right.
And they don't believe that they're coming to kill them. And it's just that sort of idea is what makes good horror really good to me.
Okay, cool.
Is if I were there, there's nothing I could have done differently.
Right.
They were doomed from the start.
All right, cool. So, do you know? I don't think any of the Grudge movies are on Netflix, are they?
I don't believe so, but maybe.
I always like to end with if you're curious, after hearing this, but I'm sure you can find them for super cheap. The one where they've been out for forever, like probably some box set with all of them or something, especially around Halloween time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, it was based on the original Japanese movie Ju-on the Grudge, which I bought it on DVD and we never watched it.
Go ahead.
It was actually based off of a Japanese movie called Ju-on the Grudge. So look into that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you dare.
Yeah.
It's like,
I really recommend it.
yeah, I've seen. I think I've seen both, and I really like them too. So I definitely are worth the look. So thank you very much to HolyDiver for joining me. If you've enjoyed these war stories, make sure you subscribe, leave a like down below, and I will be back one more time where I'll be talking about my own favorite horror movies. Thanks again for your time, HolyDiver. At least it was a good one. We'll see you guys next time. I don't know about you guys, but we are.